Hey everyone, Star Trek Picard Season 1, Episode 5, Stardust City Rag is over, but we are just getting started here on Live Long and Podcast. Let's talk about that. I'm Dave Mader, coming at you with Star Trek TV and movie reviews, and I'm joined today by two special guests, my lovely wife, Jane. Oh, there she is.
I'm not your wife.
And the ever-salty Jody Simpson.
Salty. I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, let's talk about this episode. So some big headlines. I think we gotta start with how this episode started. Icheb is dead.
Thank God.
And not only is he dead, he's been dead for 13 years.
Even better.
Secondary to that, another returning character, Bruce Maddox, who we just got back in this episode after looking for him for 5 episodes. He's also dead.
Excellent.
And,
we're just killing them off one by one. That's good.
Right. Agnes Girardi is confirmed to be a mole. We had
confirmed to be a bitch, which I already said she was.
There was a lot of 7 of 9 in this episode, as we were expecting. We saw that she is now a member of this organization that was teased earlier, the Fenris Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. We'll talk about that. There was also this elaborate heist scene that was set in Stardust City on Free Cloud, this planet that they've been marching towards since the beginning of the show. And we'll break all that down. There was a big scene with Raffi and her son and setting more character development there.
Worst part of the whole episode.
Yeah, was that your least favorite?
Least favorite.
And at the end of it all, we know that now Picard and the La Sirena are headed towards the Borg cube. We didn't see any of Soji or Narek in this episode,
Thank God.
They're going to be presumably being brought together in this next episode. But overall, hey, let's dive into it overall. So, Jody, let's start with you. What did you think about this episode overall?
Oh, thank God they did something, because that last episode was painful. So I'm glad we didn't have any more hallway sliding scenes or stupid doctor fucking things she says all the time. Oh, it's terrible. But anyway, this episode was fantastic. I liked it. Overall, I thought it was pretty good quality episode. It was definitely, I was wrong. I didn't think they were going to get there that quickly, but they did. So I'm glad they weren't dragging their heels as much as I thought they were. So I'm glad that they made it to Free Cloud. Overall, I just thought it was a good episode. I'm sad to see that it doesn't look like Jerry Ryan's going to be hanging around.
Right.
I would have liked to see her a little bit longer.
At least not episode by episode. But
yeah, and the thing that bothered me is, and I picked it up from the last episode, where like she looked really angry at Picard at the end. And I thought there'd be some more tension or something between them. Like maybe he did something that pissed her off, in the past. But they kind of just ran right over that. Like they didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Oh! I hear music. We're gonna get a copyright ding here.
I know. I think that was Jane. Jane, let's go to you. What were your thoughts on this episode?
I liked it, definitely. Like I think you guys did too. I thought
I haven't said what I thought.
It's in it. Oh, you just assumed that you liked it.
Saucy.
How could you not? I think it's an episode where I can look back and go, oh yeah, that episode, I want to watch that one again. It's where they go to Stardust City. It just felt like it was more self-contained episodes that I would want to re-watch.
And Picard with the eye patch on, like,
was okay. Yeah, so
that was
much.
We got to talk about that. Like, what? Yeah. But okay. So just for my thoughts, I really liked this episode too. I think it's maybe the best episode of this show so far, as we're kind of getting to know these characters more, the new ones at least, and how this crew is relating to itself. I think that this was kind of the perfect episode for that, like this whole heist aspect where they had to kind of work as a team. And also that just a lot happened. The kind of criticism from these last 2 episodes is like, there's not a lot happening. It feels like was kind of slow through episode 3 and 4 and 5. I think that like there wasn't really a moment to breathe in this at all. Maybe I guess the only scene might be that is the scene with Raffi and her son, but even that was really tense. So yeah, let's get into that. I think that this show is sort of got a little bit of a jolt right now, and I'm excited about that.
Well, I'm hoping they keep riding it, and that episode previous was just it was awful. So like I don't know. I'm still on the fence. I don't know how Jane feels about that, but
I wasn't as down on it as you guys were, but someone asked me this week, how's Picard going? And I was like, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I couldn't pull more than that out of me. But now, if you'd ask me that, if you ask me tomorrow, I'm going to be excited about it again.
But
so,
it looks like it's going in the right trajectory. So hopefully they can keep that going, and we're not just going to go fucking down again like we did on that last episode, because it was brutal.
Yeah, well,
I'm still trying to get over it.
And Jeff, I saw him at the curling club the other night, and he was also kind of down on the show. I said, "Well, why?" He's like, "These last two episodes, nothing happened." And I think a lot of us Star Trek fans are wanting is sort of like what's been going on. I think that this Icheb development in this episode was a great thing. I think that even though I'm kind of sad that the character's gone, I have a bit more attachment to him. Through watching Voyager, than maybe you do, Jody. And
the minute they said his name, I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I'm glad." I'm like, he's dead. Yes, but I like the fact that they linked it to him though. Like that was cool.
And it gave Seven really strong motivation in this episode.
Well, there's a line later on in the episode where she's talking to Picard and she says something like, did you feel you got your humanity back or something like that? And he's like, kind of like, I'm working on it kind of thing. And I thought that kind of played out nicely, because it's like we're seeing more humanity in Seven, where, right. It started in Voyager and you saw some of that, but she really is kind of blossoming back into what she could be and not what she was. Which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah. So let's stay on that for a minute. Let's talk about 7 of 9, because we had a lot of.
Can we go back to Icheb?
Sure.
I have to talk about that beginning scene.
Okay, go ahead.
In the eyeball.
How gross it was.
That not like hostile?
They are just throwing everything. They were throwing everything at us in this series, right? Like it's like there's people smoking drugs, there's people getting beheaded, there's guys getting their fucking eyes taken out. It's amazing. I don't know what's going on. This was R-rated Star Trek.
Crazy.
Yeah. What's the rating on this episode anyway? Like, was there an actual rating? Like, was it like PG-13 or something? Because it should have been. Like, even I went, oh.
I have to warn my brother not to let my niece watch this one, because like that would not be good.
It's a hard thing to watch. You're kind of like, oh, geez. Like, I can understand why they were trying to show it, because they wanted to like make you feel bad for the character, right? So then that way, when Seven's getting her justice, it's justified, right? But wow, they went a little far on that one, I thought.
Yeah,
it didn't bother me. Well, it did in the sense that it's brutal and, but not that like this doesn't belong in Star Trek. I don't have that feeling at all. I think that if anything, Star Trek in the past, especially through the Next Generation through Enterprise era, was very PG. And maybe in some ways a little bit too much. And this is on CBS All Access in the States, right? So this is not standard cable. It doesn't have to conform to the same things. They can use swear words. They can make it a little gorier. They can make it a little edgier, for better or worse. Your mileage may vary on that. But like if you're ripping out implants out of Borgs, like showing it to me, the reality of that, the brutality of that doesn't take anything away from me, because that's the story. That's the story.
Well, it's kind of. Oh, sorry, Jane. Go ahead.
Sorry, it looked like more like a real eyeball than an implant to me on first watch. Like you can tell me it's an implant, but I'm like, oh, that looks real. I
thought the exact same thing. Like I didn't even think it was an implant. I'm like, holy shit, they're just taking eyeballs out for fun. It's like, wow. Right,
and even that. Whoever that mad scientist woman who was ripping all his stuff out, wow. I thought that, like, are the unassimilated even worse than the Borg? Are the what is the state of this galaxy? Like, I think that this world, this 2399 Star Trek universe, is a really dark and sad place.
I think they're trying to show us that the Federation has lost control, because they had control and now it's like kind of they don't really. it's almost like it's a no man's land now. Like there's a lot of stuff going on that like the Federation, back 100 years ago would have been like, oh, we're gonna go over there, we're gonna teach them a lesson,
even
that
40,
kind of thing.
even 40 years before this. Like, yeah, this is not.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to set us up that the Federation is in a state of decay.
Yeah, well, it clearly is. I think. I don't. Well, you have Romulan spies all through the place, blah blah blah. But we'll get more about the blonde chick in a minute. But it's to me, it's almost like it's a breakdown of society. It's almost like Lord of the Flies in space. It's like it's all over the place.
Yeah, it's definitely a different world. And sometimes. I guess that's disappointing to me, but maybe that is compelling. Maybe that like this utopia concept is something that I think all writers have always wanted to challenge in Star Trek because other than Roddenberry.
Yeah, I think what you're going to end up seeing is I think you're going to see a rebuild of the Federation. I think you're going to see spin-offs past Picard. I think when Picard's done, you're going to see the new versions of Star Trek where it's in the new version of the Federation and stuff like that. I think the days of family safe Star Trek I think are gone now. I think Discovery is your last step, and it doesn't sound like it's safe for anybody to watch from what I can tell.
Well, yeah, Discovery has maybe not like a scene quite like this with but Discovery is also very not PG either, if you will.
Well, nature of the beast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a scene in particular you're talking about? I'm just curious.
Who, me?
Yeah, Dave. In Discovery.
Well, I guess maybe the scene. Well, it was more the way she told the story about how her parents were murdered by the Klingons and all of that. Although when we later saw that in the show, that didn't really have as much impact as it did when she told the story in the first season. I guess the mirror universe stuff also was very brutal, in particular the agony booths, and there was a few other examples. But like, I just think that this what they're trying to go for on Star Trek right now is a much more of a Wild West galaxy. It seems more reminiscent of the 23rd century than of the 24th. More of the Kirk era than the Picard era, even though this is Picard.
More like Firefly.
More like Firefly, yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
More like the Mandalorian. We've been talking about a lot about this, that they're
spaghetti in space.
Yeah, like it's that they're well, and they are going from place to place. So we were on this kind of desolate Romulan colony last week, and now this week we're on Free Cloud, and it's the Vegas of space, and and a morally bankrupt area. What they said, what is it about Free Cloud that makes it amazing? They said it had maximum security, financial information services, and minimal restrictions on personal liberties. And also seemed like there was meaning like I don't think there was any kind of police in this.
Well, Quark's Bar is there.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's franchised.
Quark's Bar.
Mott's hairdressing's there as well. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I have a barbershop on.
Mart's barbershop.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's franchised as well. So apparently we live in a world of Star Trek where everything's franchised now, which I guess is a good in a way, but bad in another. But yeah, I think it's the breakdown of the old Federation, and another Federation will show up.
Right. And so this character that her name was Bjayzl, she looked very much like Deanna Troy's season 1. I'm going to see if I can pull up an image of her.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of. I'm like,
yeah,
is she supposed to be like some sort of descendant or something, or is she like related or something? It was just a coincidence, I'm sure.
No, it just turned out to be a coincidence.
But
like she's
I got the same vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a picture?
Jane found it that she looks so much like season 1 Marina Sirtis, Deanna Troy from Next Generation.
A lot, yeah.
Let me see. Since we're referencing her so much, I'm just going to pull up a photo of her. But
magic.
Didn't work. Let's try it again. And pull it up.
Pull
it up.
Boop.
This isn't working.
What isn't?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the graphic.
Oh, I haven't done it yet. Just talk among yourself for a second.
Oh, so Jane, how are you doing?
Yeah, good.
Oh, I'm glad.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Have Happy birthday. Happy pre-birthday.
Not yet.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Tuesday. I was told by him today that my birthday
Yeah.
was coming up. I was
It
shocked.
is.
I didn't know my own birthday. It was incredible. Anyway,
When you said, "Hey, can we wait?" I was like, "Yeah, why not?" You know.
Yeah, that was your birthday gift. 2 hours.
there she is.
Yeah, let's get her up there. So there she is.
Totally.
It's the hairdo. It's the features. I did look up this actor. She's a German actress, but she's of Iranian descent. Marina Sirtis is of Greek descent. So they're not related. They don't have. I don't think they were going of anything specific here, but they do have a lot of striking features that are in common.
Definitely a bit of a callback. Even like the little thing on her by her hair there, her head. Like you seen Marina Sirtis, especially in the first couple episodes, you saw her with like a lot of jewelry and stuff in her hair.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of interesting anyway. But certainly, maybe it was just a callback to say hi kind of thing. We know we're going to see her eventually in the series, so we're going to see her and Will. But
I don't know how soon. This episode actually was directed by Jonathan Frakes as well.
The last two actually,
yeah,
including the bad one.
Yeah, so he had a hand in how she looked in this episode, I'm sure. So it's it is a kind of, maybe it's a nod, maybe it's a coincidence. But.
I think it's just a coincidence, but maybe it's just a nod. Who knows? Ooh, we're big. Okay, yeah, but yeah, no, I didn't mind that character. I thought it was kind of interesting to have a woman in that role instead, because she was like
basically a mobster of some sort, or
she was like a kingpin, man. She was like running the show. Like, it was very apparent that she was in control, right?
So. Yeah. It was kind of nice how it all synced up. That this gangster that also happened to have Bruce Maddox also had this history with 7 of 9, and 7 of 9 just happened to be with Picard at the right time. Very convenient.
We're gonna eventually get into how badass 7 of 9 is in this episode, right? Like we're gonna get there.
Yeah, okay. We did sort of part.
I don't want to ruin it, but we're gonna get there because.
Yeah, let's talk about. I do want to talk about 7 of 9. We haven't. So we saw her at the end of last episode, but we haven't really seen her since the end of Voyager. I don't think we haven't seen her since the end of Voyager. She's obviously a very different person now, and what were your thoughts on that, Jane? Maybe you first. Like how did you take this sort of more mature 7 of 9?
More mature 7, a more human 7.
That's it. More human.
More human, or trying to be human, jaded a bit.
A bit.
A little bit jaded. Yeah, I liked her. I want to see more of her. I hope they bring her back. I think they.
I really hope so. I hope they.
Dead.
Oh, she's not dead. No,
there's no way she's dead.
No, but she. I think. I think we might get lucky. We might see her again in the storyline somewhere. She might show up as another guest star. For an episode or two, but I don't think we're going to see her in anything mainstream for a while. So
she's not becoming part of the crew.
No, I don't think so.
No,
which is unfortunate because there's so many other people I rather have on the crew than what we have right now. Because and we have to talk about Raffi because oh my god, she's driving me mental.
I'm liking Raffi more. She's growing on me.
Absolutely hating the character now. So,
okay, let's talk about 7 a bit more here.
Of course.
7, her first scene with Picard is on the holodeck in his holographic study there. She wants bourbon straight up. That's her, not tea, not wine, nothing like that. Now, 7 of 9, this was established in Voyager. She had a few sips of champagne at an event, and she was loaded because her tolerance for alcohol is less than like regular humans.
Not anymore.
Apparently not.
She tolerance. She just kept.
She's been a ranger. She's been killing people.
She gulped that bourbon down in a way that made me very uncomfortable.
She just what?
Make me proud.
Not only that, though, she walks away from him, and then he intrigues her again. So she walks back and says, "Give me another one," right? So she ends up having 2 bourbons. So
yeah. So how drunk is she by the end of that scene?
It's fine. She was fine. She was still walking.
what I was kind of like her participation in this organization, these Fenris Rangers, which is a whole new concept for Star Trek. This is something that's brand new. What are your thoughts on this? The way that at least they describe this organization, because the neutral, like Romulus was destroyed, the neutral zone collapsed, and this whole sector kind of descended into chaos, and Seven, among others, were trying to kind of keep it all together, whatever that means. But
they had to tie it in somehow. Like they you can't just say, oh, Seven's showing up. Like there had to have been a reason why she was around. And I like the fact that there's a lot of characters in the episode that are all like, oh shit, that Seven? Oh, okay, we know who she is. Like, she's pretty notorious. Like, they know. It's like, oh, you mean the Borg from the Delta quadrant? They're like, and even who is it? Rios?
Yeah,
I always say the names wrong. Rios is like, oh, her. Like he's like, oh shit, I know who she is. Shit's going down.
Right. So yeah, they had that bit of exposition between Raffi and Rios, kind of describing it, and Raffi explains that these two don't know each other. As far as we know, they've never even met, but they were both part of the collective, so they would know each other peripherally through having both been Borg at different times.
Well, she obviously knows who Picard is. Yeah, she knows who Picard is. Yeah, she was in Starfleet for a long time. She did return. So with that, it's realistically, she is going to know who Picard is. But that's the thing that kind of bugged me, because as I said about the end of the last episode, when they do that initial greeting of her after they beam her onto the ship, she looks like she's mad at him. And I was hoping there was going to be something else in there, and there just wasn't. But what can you do? Can't have it all. But badass she is, like, for sure. Like, she's walking around, she's causing shit. And even like the ending part was fantastic to me. I loved it. She grabs two guns. Two pulse rifles. It just goes to town. It's like, oh yeah, you want to see her do that. And I don't even care that she's trying to get vengeance for her only kin, or whatever she wants to call that guy who can never say his name. The Borg kid.
His name is Icheb. He's been dead for 13 years. Come on.
No one cares. But anyway, but it was nice how they tied it in. And the Ranger thing, they had to have something. Like, they had to have something that said she was still, she's freedom fighting or whatever she's doing. She wasn't gonna stay in Starfleet forever. We already knew that. Like, we even knew that from the Voyager days. Right.
Yeah, that's not really about what I'm referring to. It's more like what this organization is that she's a part of that I'm a little bit more interested in.
Well, we don't know yet, right? We know roughly what they did.
They're from a planet called Fenris. They're a bunch of idealistic vigilantes of some, like they're kind of like their own police force for.
Yeah, they're basically running around causing shit.
Yeah, they're on the outer frontier doing their thing. Yeah, keeping the peace.
Well, they're keeping the peace because the Federation's screwing up so much.
That's what Starfleet was supposed to do.
Yeah, Starfleet was supposed to do that, and they're not doing it. So she's said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go do it myself." Then, So, and that's what she's doing clearly.
I have a question though, and I'm trying to. Why she doesn't know Picard? So, it's odd that she came back. Voyager returned, and they were the only, except for Hugh, kind of the only ex-Borgs, and why they wouldn't want to meet each other. What's the timeline between Voyager getting back and Nemesis and
3 or 4 years?
3 or 4 years, yeah.
Yeah, because we see Admiral Janeway talk to Picard in Nemesis, right?
Yeah,
in Nemesis.
Yeah,
so
she was an admiral at that point. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but it doesn't mean
there was time for them to chat.
But you do know that she does know him, because the first thing she says when she sees him is, "You owe me a ship, Picard." Like, she knows exactly who he is. Maybe she doesn't have any intimate relationship. She's never talked to him. She's never, really had it with him. Like, just because they both had the same circumstance doesn't mean they're going to talk. Like, there's plenty of people that have been in my situation, your situation, or your situation we've never met, right? Like, so it's realistic to say that.
Well, being a Borg is a pretty unique thing.
I think Picard is a celebrity, so like a lot of people know who he is.
Well, a washed-up celebrity now, I think, but
Picard seems to know most people, and he seems to know. But it doesn't seem. I'm not convinced. If they have met, it's maybe been once before this. It seems like.
Who knows? I don't think it really matters in the storyline, in my opinion. But again,
Okay.
that is only my opinion.
Yeah, but let's talk more about Raffi. She's not working for you, Jody.
Speaking of didn't matter.
You know what? Number one, the thing that bothered me the most is when she met up with her son or whatever. The first thing she says is, "Oh, I'm drug free, blah blah blah. I'm cleaned up now." It's like, no, you're not.
You're a liar.
We literally saw you 2 episodes ago smoking up the little space weed or whatever they called it.
Right.
I don't know if she's referring to another drug she was doing, maybe, or maybe this
Doesn't
is
seem to be.
yeah. So it's like shit. Number one, now all they've done is they've established her as a liar. So she's a drug addict liar. That's all she is now to me. So it's like, okay, well now I can't trust her at all. And before I thought I could trust her. Now I don't think I can.
I think you can trust
And
her to do.
Don't get me wrong. I have nothing against drug users. Okay, so no flame me. But you're not doing her justice by basically giving her lines about her lying. Like that's literally what she was doing, and she's lying to her estranged son, I assume it's her son. I don't know if they ever actually did say that. Did they confirm that?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, grandma.
I watched it a little late. I might have missed a couple things. But yeah, like it's. To me, like that just screams I don't need to like her. It's just like the Doctor. I never need to like her, and I have even more reason now. But I'm sure we'll get into that soon.
Jane, what do you think about Raffi?
I liked her initially. Not that you guys did, but this episode, I just felt that the whole reason for her, I'm coming, but I'm not really coming. I just need a ride. And seeing her son just was unnecessary. Why did they do that? What purpose did that serve at all?
It was filler.
I'm coming along.
What does her son have anything to do with this?
Unless there's there'll be some payoff with him and his wife and the child, maybe. But otherwise, I just find it was completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I aside from that scene with her son and how charged that was, I think that just Raffi as a member of the crew is what I kind of like. I like when she's doing her job, and I think you can trust her to be good at her job, but and the role she often fills is like, okay, we're at a new planet. This is what's going on. She's working the computer. She's getting some angle together. She's often sort of the plot device they need for whatever's happening. So I'm liking her in that sense. It's like I like what she's good at, what she brings to this team.
She's the Chief O'Brien of this series.
Sort of. She's like the information tech officer.
You're like, I want to like you. I don't know if I do. That's what it is.
Right. Initially, I didn't like her because those early scenes with her and Picard. I didn't like the way, I guess because I like Picard and she was portraying as Picard as maybe not so good of a person, I was having a little difficulty with that.
That's what I liked about her, though.
Yeah, but now that she's kind of fitting in with the crew more, and she's got her demons certainly, but I think I think the team's better with her here than without.
What do you think about this, Jane?
About what, Raffi?
Yeah.
No, I'm still liking her.
Okay.
I think I don't.
Maybe I'm being too harsh.
I get it. Like the whole JL, I almost want to say JL is a little annoying. Calling him that
when she calls him JL.
Yeah, how they're supposed
I
to
can
be
forgive
so
that
close.
though, because if they were on the same ship for ages, and I haven't read the prequels, but.
Riker never did that. Who else did that? Like, I don't know. I find it forced.
Some people called him Jean-Luc, but never JL. But
JL. Yeah. Nah.
Well, look at Troy's mom always called him Jean-Luc.
And the Doctor sometimes did.
His friends, like when admirals would call him up, other captains, they would
say Jean-Luc.
They would always say Jean-Luc, right? But yeah, I know when she says it all the time, I'm like, I don't know if I'm using that, but that's kind of a little nitpick. And can we talk a little bit about Jody, our other female crew member of La Sirena? Jody, we saw her home movie with Maddox, and it's established pretty clearly that these two not only had a professional relationship, like a mentor and a protege, but a romantic one clearly as well.
Well, at least with cookies.
with they were baking cookies at some point and having little kissies. One thing that it did. I'm not here to judge, but Maddox is.
That's exactly what we're here for. What are you talking about?
I'm just being like, okay, like Jane and I are a couple with an age difference, but Maddox is like probably like 40 years older than Girardi, at least. So
I didn't get that impression.
Well, last time we saw Maddox, it was in 2365, which is 34 years before this.
And he would have been probably in his late 20s at that point.
At least he was already a commander at that point.
Yeah, but he was a science commander. That's not hard.
But I rewatched that episode lately, and Measure of a Man, and in it said, what? Okay, I missed this.
Jody just said, he was a science commander. It's not hard. He can get there by your late 20s. No problem.
Okay,
sorry.
No. In Measure of a Man, they mentioned that Maddox tried to not let Data into Starfleet. And how long it's... why am I thinking...
But that doesn't mean that Maddox was the one that stopped that.
He was on the board.
That's right. And at that point...
but he might not have been a commander then.
But how old? Like, and how long had Data been in Starfleet?
You're right. You're right about that, Jane.
Years or something.
At that point, actually, no longer. Data had been in Starfleet for 30 years at that point, or something like that.
So Maddox had to be at least like 50.
I don't think so.
22
let's
years.
Fact check that.
Something like that. 1722. So that would put Matt like late 40s at least. Had to have been. And he was
Maddox has got to be in his 50s at this point.
70s. He's got to be in his 70s.
I think his 70s, eh?
Yeah.
I don't really care. Who am I to say who loves who? You can love who you love. You can love
whoever you want. Well,
it's fine.
Let's not be so old-fashioned about all this, right? Like, come on. Yeah. Love is love.
That's right.
But I do want to know when Data entered Starfleet. That is now going to bother me.
That's going to bother me a bit too. But anyway, let's move on while you're doing your fact check.
Yep.
I don't know what we're going to move on to because I guess the host is now pre-tied up.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to know when this happened. But here, let me come back and corral us. Okay, so after we got the video of Girardi and Maddox making cookies together and being
making cookies.
We
didn't see the other part of the home video, but that's fine.
They get to Free Cloud and. Apparently, you can't get an ad blocker on La Soretta.
No, there is no such thing as pop-up blockers in the 23rd or 24th centuries, especially on their consoles that happen to control the ship. This did bother me. Now I understand why they did it. It was supposed to be like a cute little thing, and that's fine. He's flicking away the guy, and she's like got this boxer thing on, and she's like, "How the hell do I get rid of this thing?" And he's like, "Punch it in the head," And it's like, okay, well, at least it's an interactive one. That's pretty good, I guess. But yeah, that was a little silly, I thought. But you know what? It's fine. I can overlook it.
Jane?
Sorry, I was looking up Data here.
Did we get an answer?
No, I didn't get there yet.
I am going to look up right now on my Google Pixel. No product placement.
Okay, so we're talking about the pop-ups on their ship. I liked that. What's his face? Elrod, not Elrod. That's from Lord of the Rings. Elrond. At the end of it, he's like, "I didn't get one."
Yeah,
everyone got there to hit. I guess he wanted to hit something.
But see, they were all personalized, right?
He didn't have much of a role.
Yeah, they were personalized, though.
They were all personalized. I think because what's his name? Elnor has been on that planet his whole life. He doesn't necessarily have any user data. His cookies are blank
in the browser.
Yeah, there's no cookies in the browser, so they don't know what ads to.
He hasn't been on the internet.
Oh.
So that's why he didn't get one. Because they don't have any information on him.
Because they hit up Rios with basically a ship maintenance ad. They hit up Picard with come to our tea room or something. They asked Raffi, hey, why don't you come to our drug den, basically, our vape lounge or whatever it is. And you see her reaction when that comes up. She's like, it's clearly they know what to serve up to her. And in the Girardi got. Oh yeah, they were trying to get her to join the robotics institute or basically it was kind of a recruitment video. Oh, by the way, Data entered Starfleet in 2344, which is 20 years before The Measure of a Man.
Okay, but he was only born in 2338.
Right.
So that puts him at how old then? He's.
Well, that means he was only 6 years old when he entered Starfleet Academy.
Yes.
But he's an android, so it's okay.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Either way, Maddox is X amount of age and doesn't matter. Love is love. Okay, let's move on.
Men have been doing it forever. It's not old. You said it was old fashioned. Whatever. Men have been doing that for all time.
Who the fuck am I to tell somebody who they love? All right, let's move on.
You know what? It's fine. If it seems, I think that Maddox could, even though, be much older than her. It doesn't matter. We learned through these advertisements that La Serena is a Kaplan F-17 speed freighter. Is that exciting?
No.
Jane?
I'll keep that for the next trivia night, and I'll remember that too. I know you will remember that.
Jane's like, what do I say? What do I say?
I don't remember what you just said. Kaplan speed something or other.
Yeah, some freighter thingamajigger. All right.
Kevin, I wish Kevin was here. He would agree with me. Useless knowledge.
Well, you're not wrong. So we get all these like fun little things. They're at Free Cloud. We're getting a sense of what this planet is like, and then they figure out where Maddox is. The Maddox is being held by this Bajazil gangster, and they devise this heist, this plan that this con. They're going to fool them and try to use Seven as bait, and it's her idea.
So I noticed that Bajazil had bankrolled Maddox. So he initially said, my lab is destroyed, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, the money you let me is whatever. So why was Bajazil bankrolling her? Or did she have a reason for that? Or that's just generally she's a...
I think she's just a loan shark of some sort.
A loan shark. She didn't really have a stake in what he was actually doing, or did she?
I don't think so. That was what I took from it. From that scene, it was like the 2 weeks ago scene, right? That was because he shows up and she's like, kill him. Like, I guess, he's not paid his debt or something. But then she kind of says, well, let's find out what's going on. And then when she realizes the Tal Shiar is after him, she's like, well, I'll just sell you to the Tal Shiar.
Yeah, I can make some bank here.
I can hopefully I can get back the money I've lent to you or something.
Yeah,
I think that's what she was thinking. For a planet that prides itself on personal liberty, it seems like it's very easy to take people into custody and to hold them indefinitely.
Well, it's a private casino. Have you ever been to Vegas?
No.
They can hold you in private.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
For a little while.
So let's talk about this heist, though. Okay, so we learn about what a facer is. A facer is sort of a middleman for these bigger deals. In this case, they want to try to get Maddox, and so they're trying to outbid the Tal Shiar. So they use Seven as bait. We have a board with all this amazing technology inside that you can sell, and so they decide, okay, Rios is going to be Rios and Picard are going to dress up as facers, which are basically
pimp daddies.
I love it.
I do like the little scene where they're like, you need a feather in your hat.
He needs a feather in his hat. That was good. That was so
silly, but good. There's a lot of silliness in this show compared to the other ones.
Yeah, I think that they're having some fun, and I think that we have fun with the characters when they do.
I like Rios.
I didn't
think I would, but I like him.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
Especially with the pimp hat on.
What I kept thinking about Rios is like, okay, like he keeps saying like, I'm just doing this for the money. I'm just doing this. You have to double my fee if I'm going to take you here. But clearly he's pretty invested in what they're doing. He doesn't have to be part of this and help them at all. And
Picard didn't even flinch when he said that. And if you notice like Rios' reaction, he's just kind of like, all right. Like he was like, yeah, no problem, right? Like, hey, I'm in this, no problem. I'll do it for free. I'm just not going to tell him that, that kind of thing. So
maybe Rios just feels like he's actually on a Starfleet mission, and if Starfleet's changed, he's getting
back the old way. Yeah,
the old glory, the feelings, and he's happy again.
Maybe this crew has sort of found a kindred spirit between he's clearly like very affectionate of Girardi, and but also now I think of Picard, and he obviously has this long-standing relationship with Raffi. But yeah, I think that this is a guy with a lot of pain. Like, I'm interested to hear more about his past, but it seems like these people are maybe giving him a second lease in life, maybe, or something like that.
I think he was bored.
Yeah.
He was bored, and now he's got something to do. You know, it's the same thing with Picard. You know, there's a light in his eyes now because he's got something to do, right? So it's the same idea. I think the two of them are more relatable than they have written them so far. So I think you'll find later on down the line, you know, there'll be more like a father-son type relationship between the two of them.
Right. What about this? Go ahead, sorry.
I have a light in my eyes now, seeing Quark's bar and Mods
That was cool.
and Seven. Like, that was, I don't know, what you say, fan service, whatever. I enjoyed
Well,
it.
it definitely was fan service, but
Yeah.
they were pretty casual with the Quark thing and all that.
Yeah.
Like, unless you were really paying attention, you didn't really.
I did notice it the
Mods.
first time.
Mods, you definitely didn't notice unless you really paid attention. I happened to catch it, but it was one of those things that I can easily see how people couldn't have caught it. But the Quarks thing was pretty predominant. Like, it was right in the middle of the scene. You could really see it. Yeah, he's all franchised now, which makes sense because, you know, Ferengis like to make money, and that's fine.
Ooh. I wanted to ask, so in the henchman guy, I forget his name, that has great smelling ability.
The pizza face guy?
He mentioned that Quark...
Mr. Vup?
Mr. Vup?
Vup?
He vouched, so he checked his credentials, and part of those credentials were from Quark. So
yes,
do you think
the Ferengi, yes.
Do you think
Quark
is that
was
the Ferengi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Quark of Ferenginar like said you did great in some sort of mission.
Mm-hmm.
So part of his credentials included Quark. So was Quark in on this heist?
Maybe he owed a favor to Raffi, and Raffi used that to set up his cover story.
We've learned on many occasions that Quark has got his hands in everything, right? So it's like, it doesn't shock me that he's part of this as well. I hope to see him in the show. That would be neat. But
that would be excellent.
That'd be cool. But I'm not going to hold my breath on that one. But I don't think you're going to see much in the ways of Ferengi at all in the show. But I could be wrong. I also didn't think they were going to get here as quick as they did. So literally, you know, especially considering the first 4 episodes, they never made it into space. So, you know, it's like, okay.
It was like they got into space just to get to another planet.
Yeah.
But,
and that was it. Like, there was no real trekking to be done.
Right.
But yeah, no, I hope to see that. But that was really cool, I thought, as well, Gene.
Yeah, more of that, I'd say. Like, I don't think that they need... we know this is a connected universe. The fans are looking for those kinds of things. Put them in, you know, wherever you can.
We want them, but I hope they don't go nuts on it. Like, if it's going to get to, like, literally every episode is going to have a callback to something, it's going to eventually get tired, I think.
Yeah, I think they can overdo it for sure. But, like, even, like, you know, they threw Icheb into this episode. You know, if you never liked him, that's fine. But to me, I was like, well, that was... That worked well.
I don't like the character at all. I never liked him on Voyager, and no offense to the actor, I'm sure he's quite fine. I just didn't like the character. It was such a forced thing to begin with in Voyager. It was like they had to do it, and it was one of those things that, like, in Voyager, I remember watching that episode where they pick up the 5 Borg kids that are on that cube, and you're sitting there going, okay, which one of these is going to be Seven's kid now? Like, you already kind of knew that was going to happen before it happened.
All but the asshole one, basically.
Basically, yeah. But, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, and Icheb was definitely not a favorite of mine anyway. But I do like how they tied it together, though. I thought that was very well done. I thought it was. I thought it was interesting. Character.
I don't know why they didn't or couldn't bring back the original actor. And the same thing with the guy who played Maddox is not the same guy who played Maddox on the Next Generation. They brought in.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that happen in life. You know, you never know. They might be out of acting now. They might be gone. I don't know. Maybe they're deceased. I don't know. I think
Icheb kind of dissed the show or something. There was something about him personally that they probably didn't want him back. The actor.
And it's not
even so, it doesn't really matter.
It just required him to scream here and to then get shot. There wasn't.
He was the guy getting the eye ripped out. Let's be honest. Anybody could have been there and it would have been fine. Same thing with Maddox.
Even before they said his name, just by that lump on his nose, I'm like, it's Ichab. Like, so it, and I didn't
See, I
know
never caught
whether-
that. I just thought it was some random dude,
Mm.
and then finally they said Ichab, and I'm like, that makes sense now. All right.
It's nice that he got into Starfleet and became a lieutenant, and I liked that part, that he had lived a bit of a life before he died.
I didn't need it, but whatever. It's fine.
What did you think about Bajazil's lizard henchman, Mr. Vup, who can smell your dinner and he can smell who you had sex with last, and smell a lie, I guess.
Seems like a creepy dude, but past that, yeah, it was fine. I'm gonna quote our friend Kevin Millard here, and I'm gonna go meh.
Yeah. I'm not mad. I thought it was a great character. I don't know. Very memorable.
He's a beta Anari. We'll see if we see any more of his species.
Yeah.
Well, it might be interesting if they do decide to bring this species moving around forward. I don't think it's the first time they've mentioned that species, though, because the name sounded really familiar to me. But
I am. Yeah, it did sound familiar, but nothing that was ringing a bell off the bat. But can we talk about just this whole heist? So we talked about Rios, and he got the pimp pad and all that, and then Picard with the eye patch and this crazy French accent that he put on, this like Inspector Clouseau from the Pink Panther or whatever he was doing.
Just ridiculous, but boy, was it fun to watch.
Oh, was it ever fun to watch? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Yes, you think they will know who I am? I will put this eye patch and this little scar on my face, and it's a perfect disguise.
Yeah.
I
don't have a lot to say about the heist part other than it was a heist part. I don't know.
And so they try to set the misdirect they give us here is that Girardi's going to be in charge of running the transporter, right? And she's like, I don't know how to do that. And later on, when the first time the EMH shows up and says, like, are you having a psychiatric emergency? We're kind of led to believe it's because she's scared she's going to have to work the transporter. This is a person who has an advanced degree in cybernetics and technology.
I'm like, literally, come on. She can't swipe her fingers up 3 bars.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
It's like, I don't know. I like Chief O'Brien, he had to run the transporter. He had a whole room. It seemed like it was his full-time job. But I got to say, like, come on. Like,
I am not qualified to run a transporter, but I'm almost positive it's something that can be taught in a couple seconds.
I'm sure that she's qualified to run a transporter. So,
and I'm sure they wouldn't have just relied on just her being able to do it if it wasn't easy enough for her to do it. Like, I think the reason why, well, we now know the reason why she was held back. We know why she was held back. It's because that would make it easier for her to do the other things, which we're going to talk about. But it's the whole Maddox with her thing. I still hate this character. I've hate her even more now, which is fine. I think that's what her purpose now is. I think they've kind of shown this is the purpose of this character. We're supposed to hate her, and I think that's kind of where they've kind of made it very easy now.
I was completely fooled. I thought she was going to be the Tilly of this show, Tilly from Discovery. She's not. She's something else completely. She's the Jason Isaac. She's the Lorca.
I will put my money on it that she is going to be the reason why the second season starts up. She's going to be killed or something. There's going to be something big with her.
Do you think so? With that in mind, now that we know that she's a villain of sorts, seemingly.
Well,
of sorts. Shit, she's a villain.
I don't think she thinks she's a villain.
I think she does.
Oh no, but well, she thinks she's done something wrong, and they've showed her whatever they've shown her. She thinks she's doing a good thing, with the synths and stuff. That's how I took it. I took it that she was fine, la-di-da, and then Starfleet came to her and told her what's up about these synths, and now she's on board and regrets all of her actions in creating these synths, and she's trying to undo and correct what she's done. So I think she thinks she's a hero of her story, and she's doing the right thing. That's how I take it. So I'm like,
I hope they don't try to redeem this woman. I hope they just kill her. But that's just me.
It's going to be really interesting to see. Yeah, like how long is this character now going to be a part of this show?
I hope not long.
It could be. I think it's reasonable to expect that it's at least the rest of this season. But will she be? Will she?
I
be
think she's going to be. I think there's going to be something big with her that's going to be at the end of this season.
Right. So they've done this reveal halfway through that she's a mole, that she's working with the Tal Shiar or Commodore O, or and all that.
Well, we know that the Romulans have infiltrated Starfleet. We already know that. So obviously O is part of the infiltration. And then you have I don't think any reasonable person didn't think that this chick was up to something. Let's be honest. We all know from day one here that she was up to something. She wasn't
we all could tell that. We thought that maybe she was Commodore O in disguise. Maybe she was.
We didn't know how far she went. She was going to go, and now she's gone farther than we thought. But that's the whole reason why they had the scene with the cookie and the flashback and all that shit, just to tug on the strings. Because if they didn't have that scene in and she did what she did, we wouldn't have cared that much.
Or as much,
yeah. Because you're like, wait a second, this is a dude that she was kissing and
making
having these good times and making cookies from scratch. That's crazy.
They replicated scratch.
They didn't even replicate them. They just
did.
Them.
They replicated. He replicated separately the eggs, the chocolate chips.
Did anybody else get that gist from that next gen episode where Will's making the eggs?
No.
Do you remember that? Was it Will or was it? Oh, maybe it wasn't Will. Who was
Katarian eggs. I do remember that.
Was it Will?
I think it was.
Yeah, and he's like, "What?" And they're like, "Oh, you got these fresh? You're actually making
dill?"
These? Yeah, and he's like, "Dill." Yeah. But that's kind of the gist I got when they start talking about the cookies, because I'm like, oh my god, if really the entire everybody who's living now is completely incompetent and can't make their own food. Are we really there now? This is bad. Maybe the Federation needs to break up.
Just for that?
Yeah.
So people learn how to cook again from scratch?
Yeah, this replicator has made them lazy. We're going to turn all into fat guys from WALL-E. Remember that movie WALL-E, where everybody's fat in the chairs all the time? Yeah.
Yep.
Any more thoughts on Jody?
I hate her. Oh, wait, I already said that. Never mind.
I'm just curious to see what she was shown. That's
a great mystery. Is she maybe more righteous than we think she is? Maybe. I don't know.
Like she thinks she is, but
she thinks she is.
Where when we were watching it, I'm like the band. They were talking about the band. Anyway, I don't know. It's all about this band of the synthetics and why.
The band.
Well, that happened after Mars, right?
Right. And whether that was the right thing or not. And she was the biggest. She's one of the cybernetists. She's one of the leading minds on artificial life.
I think we're going to find out that she was the one behind these two.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she was the primary on it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And now she's trying to cover it up. That's all I can think of right now.
So do you think that Maddox is Soji's mom? Who she's talking to? Who's downloading her, adjusting her?
Maddox does explain that in the episode that it's an AI that activated. He created it of some kind, but it's not a person. It's just it's a program that.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, he said that the mom AI would not have activated unless she was in grave danger.
I do remember that. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So that's not really a person. I thought it was Maddox using some kind of a filter initially, but it's close to that. It's actually just something he created. Yep. Okay. Just so we can get it out of the way, the scene with Raffi and her son.
Terrible.
Just skip it. Whatever.
It's terrible. Just you know what? Honestly, if you're watching it, you can skip it. It's nothing worth. You know what? Take a perfect time for a bathroom break. It's about 2.5 minutes long. You can't do 2, but you can do a 1. Make sure you wash your hands.
I wasn't as down on this as you two were. I thought that what was his name?
Who cares?
Doesn't matter. Who's her? But he hates her so much. He talks about it was how much it sucked to be her kid.
As you can tell, it looks like he's either been abused or he's been neglected or something along the line, and she's been a drug user, and she still is, and she's lying to him about it. It's like, come on. This character sucks.
Right.
I don't like Raffi.
Well, the son or Raffi?
Oh, the son didn't do anything wrong.
Okay. Did you like him?
Well, I didn't care one way or the other, really. He's not coming back. I can tell you right now. He's not going to be in any other episodes.
Good. So he was on Free Cloud because he was getting the fertility treatment there.
He was at a fertility clinic or something, yeah.
Right. And according to the internet, that his wife is a Romulan, not a Vulcan. But I thought she was a Vulcan initially. But I don't know how we can even tell, or if it even.
I don't know if it matters.
I guess it doesn't, right? Anyway,
did you
whatever.
get the same thing that I did, Jane? Where like you're like this character has turned into a liar? Like, did you get any of that or no?
I noticed the drug thing. I'm like, yeah, you're still doing drugs.
Yeah, like you're growing them and like smoking them in front of Picard, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, I didn't get the purpose of why. Seems such
just
a
character development.
I'll tell you, the most disappointing thing, other than that scene in this entire episode, is right at the end where you find out that Raffi's back on the ship. That was disappointing. I was like, you get that shit running and you get out of here before she gets back on that ship. But nope, she's already there. Can't do anything about it.
No surprise there.
I'm not liking Raffi. And you know what? And people can sit here and say like you're against women or something, and I'm not. I love like Crusher was one of my favorite people.
7 of 9.
I love 7 of 9, and I don't like her for the reasons why a lot of other men do. I think she's a great character. She's well developed, and I don't mean that in any sort of double entendre way or anything. But no, I think it's a great character. It's nice to see the transition of her getting her humanity back, and you see it. You see the rage. You see the I have to fight and stuff like that. And we all have that, and it's something that she didn't have to start when they first acquired her in Voyager. You kind of think of, she's a very one tone personality, very boring, at least I thought anyway. And then as it progressed in Voyager, she became a little bit more human, a little bit more open to things, stuff like that. So it was nice progression. And now you're kind of seeing an extreme progression. Like she's had 13 years or whatever it is. Or no, sorry, not 13 years.
More than that, yeah.
Yeah, it's
probably
more
closer
than
to 20.
Closer to 20, yeah, where she's had the ability to now, do what she wanted to, and now she's a ranger and she's fighting the injustice because obviously the Federation doesn't have any idea what the fuck they're doing right now. So it's good to see that character, and I love it. But the women on this show, for the most part, just I don't know why. I don't know if it's like the dudes that are writing the show are writing them poorly or something. But I don't like them.
This episode was written by a woman, but
that's fine. It was a great episode.
Yeah, but you don't care for Girardi and Raffi and
like Raffi
or Soji.
I want to know. I like Soji personally. I don't have a problem with her so far, but except for the whole sliding out the socks thing. But that's not really her fault. But whatever. The Raffi to me, the problem with Raffi is she's very one way. Like there's no growth so far with her, and like we're 5 episodes in, she's going to be a major character here. So we should have a little bit more growth than we have, and the only growth we have right now is she's a liar. It's like she's a liar and she abandoned her kid. It's like. Well,
I think it's what's interesting with her is that we're meeting her at a time where she's clearly a broken person. Oh, yeah. And I don't think we're used to that with Star Trek characters as much. I think we're used to, and we've seen.
That's true. Yeah, is true.
But in her case here, she's coming in like she's an imperfect person. She's got flaws, but in some ways she feels like somebody from today more, if that makes sense, than somebody from the future. She doesn't feel as enlightened as you.
We've had this utopian. This utopian type thing fed to us in all the series so far, right? So it's kind of, Discovery maybe not so much, but all the other ones were very utopian. Even Enterprise, the one that doesn't exist. But all these series have kind of sold us on the utopia that is, the future, and how it's going to be much better and stuff like that. And we don't think of stuff like drug use and stuff like that, but there has been stuff like that in the past.
A little bit.
Yeah, so it's not like it's, we haven't seen it, them sitting there smoking in front of Picard or anything like that. And the thing that I thought was interesting with Picard, even in that scene way back when in second episode, I think it was.
Mhm.
Where he's sitting there on her porch by the big rocks there. She's sitting there puffing away on this thing, and he's not even acknowledging it. So it's like, I don't know if maybe we've been fed it wrong or what it is, but I don't like how they're developing these characters, and I hope they do a little bit better with Raffi. I hope we see more things. Like, if she really is the jolted person she is, and we think she is, we need to show more of it, not less of it. We need to be able to see that problem. And the only thing we can see so far is that she has an estranged son, and she's a dick. That's really all we've seen.
Right.
And it's like, and she's been a dick a couple times during the series so far. Like, even with Picard at the beginning when she was meeting him, she's like, you can kind of go fuck yourself, Picard. And it's like, this guy's an admiral. You served with him. You can't tell me you can't be that much of a dick. You're going to be that much of a dick to him.
Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts on Raffi, Jane?
No, I think we can move on from her. I'm done.
Yeah. Okay. She's wanted to move on since we brought it up. So, okay, let's talk. I wanted to talk. So we get this. Finally, the kind of it all comes together. Picard as this Frenchman character brings in 7 of 9 with the hood on. They pull the hood off. Voila. Bjayzl and 7 of 9. Yeah, they lock eyes. And then it becomes very obvious that they know each other. More than that, that I think that they were romantic together. Did you guys get that same impression between?
Oh, definitely.
I didn't at all. What did I miss?
Well, that she calls her Annika, that she calls her Jay. These aren't like their formal names, right? These are more like.
Yeah, but that just proves that they maybe they know a lot of personal information about each other. That doesn't necessarily mean that they were. Sorry, I got a camera issue here.
They did it, Jody. They did it, Jody.
I think so, eh? Oh, got some.
Yeah, definitely.
Got some girl on girl in the old Star Trek there.
Yep.
You know what? I really don't care. Quite honestly, I'm not one to ever really be all excited one way or the other about that stuff. You love who you love.
Yep.
Well, yeah, that's not really necessarily the issue. It's more like, does that make this more interesting between them? The fact that Seven was betrayed, and that's what made her lose hope, and then Icheb died, and now she wants to initially strangle her to death, and later she vaporizes her finally, and
I didn't get that vibe. Like, you guys both got that vibe, eh? I didn't get that at all.
Oh yeah,
obviously they knew each other and they have a history, but I didn't know if it was like, I didn't look at it as any sort of romantic history. I looked at it more of like, they've crossed paths before, maybe they were friends, or maybe the chick was a ranger with her at one point or something, and then turned it the other way around and decided to be like a kingpin, something like that. But past that, I can't say I saw that. I'm gonna have to watch the episode again and have another brief look at that.
It was subtle, but I think it's real. And I think she talked about how Seven was like innocent and trusting, or something to that effect. Which she was, when you think about when she was getting together with Chakotay. So she was new to her sexuality and she hadn't figured it out yet. And so I think
what happened to Chakotay? I wanted to ship that.
No one cares. He's probably by a campfire somewhere. It's fine.
Yeah. No.
Did anyone else love that line though? So when it's kind of becomes clear, that this is now Seven's plan. Seven has kind of pulled something up a card, and Elnor goes, "Are we still pretending?" And he goes, "No, I don't think we are." Right? I thought that was great.
I liked it.
That was a great line.
Yeah. I don't like the subtle, like dumbass in the background saying stuff like that though. It always seems too forced to me, but it still was funny.
Why did they bring him?
Security?
Well, he was the muscle for Picard, right?
Okay.
If Picard's going to get into shit, it's going to be him that's going to be dealing with it.
Yeah, he didn't have much of a role this episode. But I'm hoping.
You know what? I'm okay with that, because honestly, I don't know if I even need to see him that much. Quite honestly.
Well, you need to see him right now. There he is.
There he is.
There he is.
Looking, and Picard.
How old is Jerry? How old is Jerry Ryan right now?
50 something.
She is looking great, eh?
Fantastic.
She's looking great. Good for her.
Yeah.
And even Picard looks a little bit younger in this episode than he has in some of the other ones. The worst thing about watching this series for me, really, other than the things that I've already just pointed out, is watching the actual intro, and then they show his face at the end, the broken
Yeah.
face at the end, and it's like you're like, wow, Patrick Stewart is not aging well. And then you see him in this type of thing, and he looks great. So
That's
it's like,
Yeah,
it
all about
almost,
the angle.
yeah, it almost looks like it was like forced during, or they shot it like well before the rest of the series. So it was like, I guess they weren't ready yet or something. I don't know, but anyway, just an observation. But Jerry Ryan's looking great. Good for her.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Jerry, do you or
I'm
Jody,
Jody.
do you ever see yeah, no, you're not Jerry.
Boing boing boing.
Every time I
Seven
do that.
and Dave look alike?
I'm sorry.
Do you ever notice that Dave looks a little bit like 7 of 9? No? I've said that since I met him. He's got a little bit of 7 of 9.
We're gonna move on. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna comment on that.
We both have German heritage,
Yes.
So perhaps
Blue
that's
eyes.
where.
I think there's similarities. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I'm kind of like a male 7 of 9. Really,
You are. You are.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, it's
I could be
killing
a
me not to
Fenris
say
Ranger.
stuff. That's all I can say. It's killing me here. Let's move on.
Okay, so yeah, the final scenes here with 7 of 9, this heist, the fact that she doesn't kill Bjayzl, they beam away for her just to grab 2 guns, basically beam back down.
That's
she gives
the 7
Picard,
I wanted to see, though.
Right. She gives Picard a little calling card, I would assume, or something like that.
Something to be able to get back in touch with her or something, yeah. So I think
you're
going to see her back again. I just don't think you're going to see her very regularly. I think you're going to probably see her like once a season.
Twice,
kind of thing.
Once or twice a season.
She's basically the Borg of this series. You're gonna see her one or 2 episodes a season, and that's the end of it.
Yeah,
So
maybe
she's the new Q. God, I hope they bring Q back.
I
God,
do too.
wouldn't be Q. Oh, John DeClancy, please.
I'd like to see him again for sure.
Oh.
I just don't know what his role would be.
It doesn't matter. Even if he just shows up and just be like, "Hey, Picard," and he's like, "Fuck, not you again." And he's like, "Oh, no, I'm just stopping by. I thought I'd say hi. All right, see you later." Stuff like that.
Right.
That would be good.
That's
but
true.
No, I will tell you when 7 beamed back without killing the lady, I was like,
you wanted her to kill her.
Oh, so bad. And then she grabs the 2 guns, and I'm like, fuck yeah. All right, we're going back now. So then she went back, and obviously, doing everything.
But this whole Starfleet is not okay. Star Trek has always been of the position that killing for revenge is not evolved, that capital punishment is not evolved.
You've seen a lot of the Star Trek movies, right?
Yes.
Like almost all of them have that in it.
But only killing a villain or somebody in the sense of like it's self-defense, it's a last resort.
Do we know exactly why Jerry Ryan 7 killed her?
For revenge over Icheb.
Not the only reason. I think there's more. We'll find out later. No, well, now you're telling me that it might be that too, but no, I think she has some really good tie-ins with the Romulans or something, and maybe she was funding some of this. So I think you're gonna find. I think the paths are gonna cross again when they figure out that like 7 maybe is going after all the people who are funding this shit, and she's going one by one, and it just happens to be that she knows this lady, but. You might find that she might be trying to knock out all the like head people of this type of ring, and she's gonna run back into Picard eventually. I think that's my theory, but again, it's a theory.
It's a good one.
Just like I'm stuck on that whole scene with where she's like, after you were freed from the collective, did you get your humanity back? He says yes, and she says all of it. And he goes no.
Yep.
But that's part of
that
the
was
battle.
Great. I loved it.
And even though obviously this Bjayzl is a very despicable character and not really worth our sympathy, like I think when gunning her down in that way was very was tough for I think on 7's
But I think
journey to find her humanity.
I think we had to establish the fact that she is a jaded character. She's living in a world that she was promised was not this. So
Right.
you got to remember, you know, she spent a couple of years on a ship with Janeway, who's talking about how the fucking Federation is the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
So, you know, she gets back and all this shit happens, and she's like, you know what? Janeway's a bitch. You know, like she told me the wrong shit. This is totally.
I was
fucked up.
sold
Why-
a false bill of goods, if you will.
Exactly. That's what I think. So I think now you have a jaded Seven who has said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to try to make it the way that it should be. And that's what she's doing. And I think so far she's been the most exciting character I've seen in the whole fucking show. Like it, and she was in what 1.5 episodes. You know, even I think she's even progressed better than Picard has already. And she's literally been a guest star. Like that's jarring in a way, but in another way, it's kind of neat to see. So I think I hope to see a lot more Jerry Ryan in the series. I really hope so. I hope she's like kind of like a recurring thing that shows up, you know, every couple episodes. I think that'd be fabulous. Because they kind of have, when you think about it, they're almost the same mission. You know, Jerry Ryan's trying to, you know, get shit in order, and Picard's trying to figure out what the hell's going on, which happens to be why the order's not happening. So, in a way, they're almost on the same mission, just two different perceptions of the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the fact that they're headed towards a Borg cube, you know, it leads me to believe that story is going to have to intersect with Seven of Nines again, likely.
Yeah, you'll probably see 7 and 9 at like the end of the series, like the end of the season or something. She'll show up and she'll start causing some shit or something. But let's be honest, she's a badass.
Be interesting to see like Q and 7 of 9, and do they know each other? What's that dynamic? I'm kind of curious about.
And
so
that's the thing that's always bothered me about Star Trek, and that's the thing that's so forced on Discovery, because the thing that bothers me about Star Trek a lot is there wasn't a lot of very powerful women. Even in Star Trek, when you think about it, like there was some, but like even Janeway was a pain in the ass. Like she was the captain of the ship and stuff, but let's be honest, if she was by herself, she'd be fucked. Like some of the stuff she did was so stupid.
Like a badass woman, you mean? Like a
I want to see some more powerful characters. Like you have like Crusher, who you know, obviously she was a bit of a pushover, but she was a fairly strong woman. Yeah, but she was a bit of a pushover. I'm not even talking about like the stuff they do on their own time and stuff. I'm just talking that. And then you have obviously Troy's character, who could be strong, but a lot of times wasn't. Stuff like that. And then you deal with like DS9, where you obviously had Major Kira, who was a pretty bit. Jetsia wasn't that much of a badass, though. Let's be honest. I didn't
with Klingon weapons, and she wanted that blood oath to get the albino.
But that's because she was banging the guy. It's not the same thing.
No, it's before that. That was before that.
Whatever. Anyway, it's
Kira
whatever.
was badass.
I want to see more strong women in Star Trek. That's what I want. I want to see that. We have it with Soji. Soji, we know, can be a total badass if she wants to be, because she's got it in her programming.
That woman that wanted Riker's job, remember, with the Borg, and she was.
But those were 1-off, 2-off episodes.
Yeah, I know.
Like you didn't have a reoccurring character that was constantly
right.
A badass.
Typically, the dynamic of Star Trek casts are 5 guys, 2 women.
Yeah,
and usually those 2 women are secondary characters.
But we're talking about a utopian place where everybody's treated equal. There's no pay anymore. Everybody just does things for fun. And I still only have a couple women who are strong women in the show. Like it's. I like to see the fact that 7 and 9 was going there causing some shit, and I was hoping Raffi would be the same type of character, and I think we're not going to see it. I think she's going to be a complete pussy, and it's.
What? I just think that Raffi's got too many demons, and it's hard to.
But that's a perfect reason why she would be a badass. She's been through the shit. You know what I mean? Like it's she's battle hardened. And that's something that they could definitely use as a good thing as well. But it was refreshing. I like the fact that 7 and 9 was, they tried to make her look kind of like she was a bad guy, but she really wasn't, because we were okay with her doing what she did, I thought. And then you have the doctor, who's blonde chick. She's she's killed off Maddox. Like, but we don't know why. We still don't know why yet.
Well,
right?
that's So we're led to believe, she was shown something that changed her mind about everything.
Yeah.
Jane, I keep coming back to this whole control thing with from Discovery, and are they trying to link Picard to Discovery?
Oh, I hope it's not control. Like,
okay,
AI,
for someone who
AI.
hasn't seen much of this, what is control?
Are you worried we're going to spoil it for you?
No, not at all. I don't care.
Is an AI.
Yeah, I did know that, but like, what's the
It was an AI that the Federation used, according to Discovery, which is canon, of course. So,
well, it is now, yeah.
The control was an AI used by the Federation during the 23rd century to kind of help the admirals make all their decisions about what they should be doing. But what happened was that Discovery somehow, when Discovery was going through the spore drive, somehow they picked up some kind of virus from the future that infected Control and made it become self-aware, and then it basically turned into Skynet and wanted to destroy all life.
Okay.
And so they spend most of season 2 in Discovery fighting against that. It was a very unfulfilling story in my opinion. And
see, that sounds interesting to me, but I know I'm going to be disappointed, so I'm not even going to bother.
It's just bad. So I hope this is like Picard isn't like a Terminator story. Is that what this is about the synths? And it's just
well, it already is realistically. Like they tried to wipe out. They tried to wipe out a lot of people. These androids went and tried to wipe out a lot, and they did.
I guess.
So I guess in a way it already is, but it is. I don't think that's going to be the primary focus. I think this is just the storyline for the next season or two, and then I think we're going to find other things they're going to be doing. I really hope it goes more into an episodic type situation instead of where it's going right now, because right now it's just like, I gotta watch every episode, that's fine, but I'm never fulfilled at the end of the episode. This is the only one, honestly, out of all the episodes so far that I watched, that I actually can say that was a good episode. I was okay with it. It ended nicely. I got some good action in there.
Yep.
If you took out that little bit with the doctor, I think we would have been good.
Or with Raffi. I would take out Raffi. The doctor
Raffi as well. And you know what? It saddens me to even say it, but honestly, between the two, I guess I would probably want to see the doctor in this scenario more than Raffi, because that scene was it was useless. And I know it's building up to something else, and that's fine. But
character development.
Yeah. It's not the right type of character development, especially if you're going to have this. This lady is going to be realistically the number one for Picard. Like, that's kind of what she is. She's the number one for Picard in this scenario. And we now don't trust her. Like, do you remember anything that Will did in the first season that you would think you'd be like, oh, well, I don't trust him?
Who did?
That Will Riker did in Next Gen.
Oh! I didn't know we were on a first name basis with with Commander Riker.
Commander Riker, excuse me.
Commander Riker.
Will, Will.
Will. He even directed the episode. Will, that guy.
Yeah.
Jonathan Frakes. Yeah. But he was trustworthy from the beginning, and you knew that he could be counted on. But you also knew that he wasn't going to put up with any shit. So if Picard did something that he didn't like, he would voice it. Which is fine, and I hope Raffi does the same thing. But you've already established that she's a liar. That doesn't sit well.
I'm okay. I think she's just human, really.
That's fine. But why is she lying to her son?
Well, I think it's complicated. I think that's just kind of how life is sometimes. But
this isn't a Facebook status. This is a show.
So do we want our Starfleet heroes? Is that who we want to watch in the show? Or do we want to watch the damaged?
I'm up for either. It's still Star Trek.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're right, because most of the time the characters of the past, if they had a flaw, they usually overcame it in that one episode. It was all resolved by the end of that one episode.
I can understand that she's not going to get over things, and I get that. And, she's obviously got PTSD or something like that. She's got some sort of demons, okay, and that's fine. And there's people that fight those things all the time, and again, it's not my business to say one or the other, but it just, to me, it's a really hard swallow when they're literally 5 episodes in. They're basically telling me don't trust this woman, but yet she's supposed to be the side hand to him, and that bothers me a bit.
Yeah.
So
There is
I could have
one thing
definitely
that-
did without that.
Yeah. In that scene, there is one thing that might have been useful. Dave, did you write down? She mentioned when she was talking about the conspiracy that she thought that happened at Mars. She's like the 6 or the 7 or the 8, the Coven
Oh,
of
the
the 8.
Conclave of 8, it was called.
Conclave of 8. What's that?
Well, I think that will be paid off in one of the next
So there's
couple of
that's
episodes.
why that scene happened, I think, because they mentioned the
To sell that?
Conclave of the 8.
But did they have to
it
tell
has
me
to
she
do with
was a liar
this.
while they did that?
Yeah,
Right.
true. Yeah.
Because she was clearly figuring out that the Romulans were behind the Mars attack, and that the Federation was probably involved, but she didn't have proof. But she had she was starting to see that this and that obsession paired with her drug use basically estranged her from her husband and her son, and to the point where she was kind of like she lost everything, lost her career, and then. But
which is fine. But if you have the ability to go and see your son, who you haven't seen in how many years, whatever it was, it might be a good time to try to start over again. You know what I mean? Like it's, if you want to prove it's something that he easily can prove her wrong on. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't do anymore. I'm clean now. I'm clean. Oh yeah, really? Well, let's watch it for 24 hours. We'll see if you're clean. Like, we don't know. She could be sitting in that room right now, smoking up her little space weed, or space heroin or whatever the hell it is. And again, I'm not against people having vices or anything like that. Like it happens every day. I have vices. Everybody has vices. But it just didn't sit right. We'll see if it pays off or not. But it's, to me, that was the one thing that I really took away from this episode that really didn't sit well with me.
Okay, let's look ahead to next week a little bit. The Impossible Box, episode 6. I have not seen the preview. Have you seen the preview yet? Either?
I have not. Oh, good.
Oh,
Jane
I
has.
did.
Good.
Yeah, I actually, Jody,
fill us in.
we don't get it because we watch it on like the CBS Sci-Fi or whatever Sci-Fi, and it doesn't show at the end of our episode, so I had to go to YouTube to get it. But yeah, it's Impossible Box, and I
Is that
saw
the Borg cube?
The Borg cube. I saw Picard with potentially a couple live Borgs right beside him. It was a little blurry, but that's what it looked like. It looked all like there was this box with a figure coming out of it, almost like what's the horror movie with Pinhead? No, that little
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser. So it's like a little Hellraiser box, but lighter. It kind of looked like that. It was very quick, but I'm like, oh, it almost looked like a little figure coming out. Looked exciting. So Picard is going to be on the Borg cube. He's going to be around Borgs.
Well, he was around 7 of 9 in this one.
But like real, like
Borgified.
un-XB Borgs, yeah.
So
do you think he
just to run on that point for 1 second, does anybody else get the impression that part of the Borg ship is still working?
Oh,
but there's actually like Borg walking around and they just grab them every so often?
There are. That's why that's called the green zone. What zone? That if you're
something like that.
You're back.
Yeah, like there's active Borg there that they literally are like farming out. Like what they're doing
is they wear those badges that if you're in the wrong zone, they go off and they're like run. If your badge
why didn't I catch that? Run. I don't know why I didn't catch that, but anyway.
So I think that makes more definitely sense. Active zones in that cube.
If that's the case, it's even more confusing that the collective wouldn't come get that cube. But
they're cut off or something. I don't know. Maybe they're all in stasis or
regenerating they did mention something about how the Romulans figured out a way to cut them off or something like that.
Yeah.
So the Borg might not even know where it is, and that might be an arc point later on down the line where Borg enters that space and finds this other cube and goes, oh, there's the fucking lost cube, let's go get it. And then there's going to be a big conflict there.
Like just what they're doing with the Borg in the show, which I think I like the direction they're going in. I'm kind of curious to see what this sort of, if you want to call this whole Star Trek PG-13 or adult accompaniment, like what is
I like to call it
new
Star
Borg?
Trek After Dark.
Star Trek After Dark. Yeah, I like this edgier Star Trek. What's the edgier Borg look like? Could that be interesting? That kind of excites me. So
Yeah. Are they going to change the Borg? How the Borg look? What the Borg look like?
I think just to dial up their ruthlessness, which was already granted was pretty bad. So, but how can they make that even more?
I wonder if we'll see another queen.
Yeah, we might.
I wonder if Seven will turn into the queen. I'm just kidding. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. Be interesting if we ever saw Locutus again, too. That would be really something.
Oh, I hope that doesn't happen. Like, how many times can one man become a Borg? Like, come on.
I guess as many times as they get captured. All right. Well, I don't have anything left on this episode. I think, do you? We can probably call it a wrap, and we can look ahead to next week, The Impossible Box.
It was a good episode. That's all we need to know.
It was a good one. Let's hope next one's even better. Until next Saturday, this has been Live Long and Podcast. Thank you for joining us. Make sure to subscribe, like, and leave comments. I'm Dave Mader. And Jane.
We never know who's supposed to go.
I'm Jane Mader.
You are. And I'm Jody Mader. No, Jody Simpson.
And we'll catch you on the flip side.
All right.
Catch you on
later,
the flip
everyone.
side. All right.
See ya.